The CSS Georgia, it needs to come up now. If it doesn't, the next round of dredging will destroy the remaining parts completely.
She was actually constructed here in the city of Savannah.
As funds were raised for the vessel by the local women of Savannah. They created what's called the Gunboat Society, and they raised money and donated it to the Confederate government in order to build this particular gunboat. The engines were woefully bad for this vessel. It won't move under its own power, so they essentially pulled it up under the guns of Fort Jackson and moored her there in order to use her as a purely defensive weapon. When Sherman's army visited in December of 1864, they couldn't bring her to turn around and fire at the oncoming Federals, so they blew her up to prevent her capture.
We're out here on the Savannah River, moored above the CSS Georgia. We're walking around on the bottom, we're recovering pieces of UXO, we're recovering old cannons, pieces of the casemate.
So whatever we recover from the river right now will help us rebuild, not necessarily physically, but virtually, the CSS Georgia.
Salvaging a ship that's been on the bottom of a riverbed since the 1860s is no easy task.
The hull, the bottom part, was made out of wood. The metal was on top. And all of that wood has actually disintegrated. And that's caused a great deal of problems when they're trying to raise it, because they try and attach these ropes and different things to the wood or what's left of it, and their ropes just go right through it.
There's a lot of fouling on the bottom, there's a lot of hazards. We got significant currents around here. Tides are shifting daily.
These professional divers are recovering artifacts that normally would be blown up and discarded. I have here an artifact. This is the sabot from a 6.4-inch brook shell. It's a copper disc.
We're bringing up history. We're bringing up pieces that are have a great significance to the history of this country.
To understand our history is very important, and the more you can relate to an event, the more meaningful it becomes.
There are actually very few of these ships from the Civil War that we can actually study. And this is a remarkable opportunity for us to bring this thing up and look at what kind of environment the sailors themselves are actually living in.
It's your history, regardless if you're from Hawaii, Alaska, or here in Georgia. It's your history.